Hey guys, welcome back to another video. As you guys may know, I do have a lot of hobbies. I love the outdoors. I really like to play video games. I like doing YouTube, obviously. But one of my main hobbies that I got into over these past couple years, mostly influenced by my dad and my uncles, was hunting. And I love deer. I love nature. Like, I love being out in the woods. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, this, like, ever since I was a little kid, like 8 years old, I was dying to go hunting. Like, finally be able to, like, hunt a deer for myself. And, you know, since last year, I was finally, like, old enough legally to go hunting. But I could only, hunt with a bow. Because in my state, you have to be, like, a certain age to hunt with a gun. So, came close to shooting something last year in deer season with a bow. Didn't happen. And there's been little bucks I could have shot, like yearlings, and does, but I really wanted to hold off for like a big buck. You know what I mean? I just wanted this hunt to be really special, and I'm a very picky person. So that's exactly what I did. I just waited for a big deer to come along before I ever took a shot. So no luck last year. But this year, my dad and I have been, hunting like every single weekend, as much as we can, nothing. And so, you know, I'm now like old enough where I can hunt with a gun this year, when when it's open gun season. So that's exactly what we did. I went out opening day of gun season, and we actually were hunting like right behind our house because like we have like we call it our shooter hut. It's like a, blind on stilts with a deck around it. But it's also like doubles as a play set because we have like slides out back there. It's multifunctional. It's really nice. We like it. But anyway, and then it overlooks like a cornfield. You know what I mean? Like a bean field, whatever. And so this year's past harvest was beans, and the beans were just harvested. I don't even know, probably a few weeks before. And then, so some of, the leftover beans in the bean field, the deer would, come out and, eat them, you know what I mean? So it was a good spot. Now, this shooter hut obviously overlooks the bean field, and then it's about 400 yards long, and then there's a woods. That's my neighbor's woods. So, anyway, basically, the story is we go out that morning. I wasn't very optimistic because, it's like practically our backyard. I'm thinking to myself, what big buck's gonna step out and actually walk through that bean field, coming close enough to the point where I can actually shoot it. I've been hunting all season, no luck at all. It's just deceiving, you know what I mean? Now anyway, we're sitting out there. It's about 7 o'clock, daylight finally. I don't know, maybe around 7:10, 7:15, my dad is watching the woods and everything, seeing if something steps out. And a buck did step out. And my dad was like, oh, Glivy, there's a buck. And I'm like, hoping it's big, obviously, but I wasn't too confident. And my dad's like, oh, Glivy, it's a good buck. That's a shooter. A shooter to me is 3-year-old and up. I like wide deer. I don't really necessarily like tall and narrow bucks. I like wide. Doesn't have to be the tallest height wise, but I just like wide deer. And that's what this deer was. It was 3. It was at least 3. He was a really wide deer. Wasn't super heavy. Not super tall, but he was wide. And I really like wide deer. Good buck, beautiful buck. Very nice fur. Everything you'd want, pretty much, in my opinion. It was 400 yards out because it stepped out of the woods onto our property, and we were like, we want this thing to come into 200, but we can at least try to lay a shot on it because the gun I was using, it was a 300 Winchester Magnum, which is my dad's, it's his, best gun for, especially if this is going to be my first time deer. This is the gun that's gonna put it down the quickest, you know what I mean? So at least we knew our gun was reliable. Now we just needed it to come in more. Came in to about 350 yards, kind of feeding, and then decided to turn broadside, and then started heading towards okay, so the woods kind of comes out into a peninsula, sort of, and the deer came out and tried to head into that peninsula. It's kind of hard to picture, I know, but like that's the best I can explain it. So the deer comes out 350 yards, turns broadside, and tries to head into that peninsula. So I had like seconds, and we were like, okay, we're just gonna, because I felt pretty confident with this gun. I was like, I think I can definitely hit him. So I laid a shot off on him. You know what I mean? And he kind of like flinched and hunched over and like jolted into the woods really quick. So we were like, I definitely thought I hit him. There's always that potential chance that you may have missed, but he's like, I think you definitely hit him, and good at least. We were hoping for the best, but weren't really sure. Fast forward 10, 15 minutes max, the deer steps out the other side of the peninsula. And that peninsula just consists of like a willow tree or two, and then just some brush. So we kind of like came out the other side of that brush, and then started in the middle of the cornfield, like just started heading towards us. And we were like, this is the same buck, but he doesn't have any like gunshot wounds. He's walking fine, calm, like same exact deer, but he's fine. And so we were like, well, we must have just completely missed him then. Because my dad said he once did shoot a deer before, and it did the exact same thing my buck did. Like, he shot at it, and it like kind of hunched over and flinched, but he like ended up missing it. And so we were just like, wow, that's kind of ironic. And I kid you not, this deer steps out of the other side of the peninsula, walks directly towards us. And we were like, what in the world? Like, this is a mature deer, and we just shot at him, but like he's walking towards us. And we're like, really? I don't know. That just shocked me. I was like, what in the world? And this is the middle of the day, kind of, middle of the morning, walking out in the middle of the field in broad daylight. It's kind of, it was crazy. It finally gets 200 yards away from us, and my dad's like whistled at it, or kind of like hollered at it to get it to look up and turn broad, because it was like broadside. So we got it to look up and stop for a second, and I let the shot off, and I nailed him, drilled him right through his shoulder.
Drilled him. You drilled him. Load another round. Get another round in. Get another round in. Wait, he's going down. He's going down. Right there.
You can see him, like, it just drilled him, and he went right down. I think he ran about 7,500 yards and then just dropped. About that first shot I took on the deer and how he flinched and hunched, we rolled the deer over to gut it, and there was literally a line through its fur where the bullet hit, like, right under its belly. And, that's the kind of stuff that's just mind-blowing. Cool to be able to, like, firsthand know what you're looking for when you hit a deer, like, where you're supposed to hit it, you know what I mean? When it's a definite kill shot. Because, like, that stuff's important. Like, if you're going to be a hunter, you need to know, like, what to expect, and how to put your harvest down as quickly as possible. You know what I mean? If I'm gonna shoot a deer, I want it to be the most ethical like shot I can be. You know what I mean? And that's what that shot was. So I'm very happy. It didn't suffer. Because you never want an animal to suffer. So I'm glad we were able to put it down as fast as we could, and as painless as we could. So, all in all, I'm very grateful to have had this opportunity, and I'm going to do many more videos in the future on, because we're going to mount this deer ourselves. We're going to do a shoulder mount, so I'll do some videos on that, maybe, some cooking videos on how to cook the deer, the best, cuts and everything. And yeah, again, I'm super grateful to have this opportunity, and thank you so much to my dad, and, my grandparents, my uncles, my mom, all my supporters, because, none of this would have happened without you guys and your expertise.